Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. It's going to be a strange day today, so there might be some of me popping in and out today. I have construction workers here all day today, including working in the room where I'm streaming, so it's going to be a little bit strange today. Hey Nicholas, hey Philip, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Nicholas, we're going to be going through that today. We're not actually going to be in the Dror fight for a little bit. We're going to go over and deal with Minthara first. And a couple other... No, yeah, we'll go deal with Minthara first. And then we'll go right to Dror, so... You'll see how I do it anyway. And yeah, it minimizes the aggro that you're going to get. Nobody outside of that room, with the exception of possibly a couple of patrol goblins, should aggro. Hey Darren, welcome to the stream. And again, everybody, what I'm sorry, I got caught up here this morning and didn't get to prep for this because I didn't expect the construction workers to be here at this exact time. So you're going to see me do a couple of things here on screen because I am live. while I'm getting ready for this, because I might have to take some pauses during the game here, and when I do that, I don't want people who might show up in the middle of the stream. Hey everybody, can you hear me okay? It's going to be a little weird stream today with things have gotten off to a rough start here because of the construction workers that are in my house, and they're going to be in the room where I'm streaming and all that sort of stuff today, so I may be popping in and out for a couple of minutes here and there, so I apologize. You're going to see some shenanigans today. But yeah, Nicholas, you're going to see how I approach this. And the aggro that I generate is kept to an extreme minimum. I shouldn't be aggroing anybody outside of the rooms that I'm working in for Minthara and Dror, unless There are a couple of patrol goblins for Dror that might pop in, depending upon how I do it, but for the most part, yeah, it's fairly minimal, so you should see how it goes about, how I go about it anyway. Hey David, hey Rymar, welcome to the stream. So I'm going to pause for a second and go grab some water and kind of get settled in here, and then we'll get started. So be back in a second. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 12 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Bard gameplay series. I'm Commander Dror, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, admin notes. Oh boy, today is going to be a stream full of shenanigans. So I hope you all bear with me today. As I've told you before in previous admin notes, there's been a lot of construction going on at my house because of a flood, and the construction workers are here today, and they are going to be working all day, and it's going to be a little loud. So whatever comes through the mic, I apologize. It's just whatever it is. If it gets to be too distracting, then I'll try and up the input gain and that sort of stuff to try and cut it out. But you may hear me go silent as I manually mute the mic if they're doing something especially loud. But the other thing is that they are actually going to be working in the room that I am streaming in. I've been kind of sequestered into a single room of my house for the past 7 months. And the room that I'm streaming in, they're going to be doing some plumbing work today. So no way to get around it. It is what it is. So there may be some breaks while they want to come in and that sort of stuff, and I may have to take a break here and there. So if I do, I'll put up a "Be Right Back" sign to let everybody know that I'm just gone for a couple of minutes, and then I'll get back as soon as I can. So I apologize. I've avoided it all the way up until now, not having construction done on Saturdays, but today we don't have any choice. So is what it is. So I thank you all for hanging out with me today while we go through this. So as far as that goes, there also was an update that got put out, and that was patch number 3. So patch number 3 went live yesterday, the 22nd, and it adds support for macOS. Now it's fully supported, so the only other thing is that the saves are not cross-compatible. So anybody who's been playing on PC and then wants to move over to Mac, your saves aren't going to be able to be moved over. So they're going to have to install the full version again and replay. So they also added an item called the Magic Mirror. Now, this is something that was asked for a while ago during the early access, in a way to respec your character appearance. And Larian had said they were working on it, but they weren't sure if it was going to be ready for launch, and it obviously wasn't. But now they've added it into your camp, and there will be, we'll have a chance to look at it, but we're not going to go through it 100%. There have been a lot of updates to combat and to scripts and flow and the cinematics and that sort of stuff. There have also been a lot of gameplay changes, which are sometimes good and sometimes bad, and one of them has to do with the Everburn blade. The Everburn blade used to set flammable objects alight all the time, but if you swung it at an explosive barrel, it didn't do anything. Well, now it does. So if you've been swinging at explosive barrels with the Everburn blade, I wouldn't do it now, because it's going to get ugly if you do. But we're not going to go through the full patch notes. It's a large patch for patch number 3, so I encourage you to go take a look at it. Make sure if you're not getting it automatically downloaded on Steam or GOG or whatever that you've enabled that download, because there are a lot of good changes that happened as well in it. So I want to make sure you take advantage of it. So I think that's it for our admin notes, and we can go right into our recap. So at the end of last episode, we had just finished off Priestess Gut. We had talked to her, we had lured her into her sanctum all by herself, and we ambushed her while we were in there. So she is now dead. And now we can continue on with taking out the rest of the Goblin leaders and the Goblin Camp. So we'll just jump right in here. And as we were chatting about it before, there's a lot of different ways to go about clearing the camp out if you, or to minimize how much of the camp gets angry at you. And most of that has to do purely with line of sight. As soon as you engage one of the bosses, then the entire camp is going to become angry toward you, and at that time you need to have all the other things done first, I guess, so to speak. Because if you haven't, then things can get overwhelming fairly quickly. So we had tried out the disguise self ability here for speaking with the dead, so we're going to get rid of that. But everything else here is kind of exactly where we left it. Priestess Gut is now here on the ground. We've already taken her stuff. So since we did this entirely in secret, remember, we closed the door behind us here. Nobody saw our interaction here with Priestess Gut. So as far as the rest of the camp is concerned, everything is still perfectly fine. So if we walk out here and we open this door, you can see that the icons on the map are still yellow. No one is aggroed towards us. So we're free to do whatever we want here. And as part of that, we're going to go around, and you can see the goblins are still patrolling, but you can see they're yellow. They are not aggroed. So we're going to do some housekeeping here first. Okay, by taking out some of these war drums that are scattered around. And that's just in preparation for later. You can leave them. It calls in goblin reinforcements, but the reinforcements aren't that many, and they're not that hard to deal with. So if you don't do this, it's not a big deal. But
just out a few.
okay, so now we have a couple of options here. So if you move around here and you walk into this room and you attack this group of goblins here, the entire camp's going to get upset with you. Okay, so that's not something that we want to do now. What we're going to do is we're going to head up top here and take a look at a few things up here before we move forward. So the collapsed corridor here is what leads you out to the cracked wall that we broke outside. So if you want to sneak your way in here, you can come in this through the cracked wall from the outside, and you'll end up here. Okay, so we've got a few things up here that we want to take a look at. So we got a gilded chest here with some potions in it. And I do want to make sure that I get rid of that and put my cap of curing back on. And now we can walk all the way over here to the other side by crossing these beams. And this is... the verticality here is an important thing to highlight. And you're going to see how that works as we get into these other fights. And this is what's going to help us minimize our aggro. So, got some good spells down here. Now we can head over here and we're going to do a little bit of searching, and then we'll go finish off the rest of these encounters. So jump across here. There's a wooden chest here that has some silver items in it that you can loot.
Maybe I need more pockets.
And then down here, we have another chest that's over here on this side. And there's a couple of ways to do this. Remember, we talked about this previously with the jump ability. That you might be able to jump yourself down into a certain location and then not get yourself out of it. It's not necessarily the issue here. However, we need to make sure that we're able to jump into the spot that we want to. And our low strength might be a detriment to this. Yes. So I couldn't remember if it was this jump or if it was a different one. So we're going to bring Lae'zel in here just like we've done in another scenario. And she's just going to pick up this chest. Okay, so I can jump her up here without a problem. We can actually just search this one here. It's not a big deal, I guess. And then continuing on around here, you can see that we have some vases. We have another chest that's marked as steel. And we get into this room here. Now, this room here is the back side of the door here that leads from... Trying to get my camera right. It might not clip through the wall here. But this is the back side of the door that has the Zentarum out in front of it. This is their storeroom here. And they're normally going to get angry if you come in from the outside. But if you sneak in this back way, you can come over here and you can jump down in here and you can loot all of these chests and all that sort of stuff. That's not going to be a big idea or big deal for us here in a little bit. So we can come back and loot this later because of what's going to happen with the interactions later on as we go through this. So, but there is also a burrow hole up here. So if you have your wild shape or shape-shifting abilities, you can also pop down here into this area instead of having to jump. Because once you jump, you have to have a high-strength character to jump back up or somebody with Misty Step to get back up here. So just keep that in mind as you're going through here. There is a scroll of chromatic orb up here. Whether or not you want to take any of these things is, again, completely up to you. But you can jump up here.
One true way.
With a high-strength character, and you can do all the searching up here that you want. Okay, so... But you do need a high-strength character to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be in that situation where you're too far or too high. So here, Lae'zel can make this without a problem.
Still breathing, despite everything.
My bard... however, is going to have issues here getting back up. And this is what I mentioned. There actually is like one pixel somewhere in here that you can find it because I've done it before. But it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. And yes, you can pick up a box and drag it around and set it down here and do all of that. However, it's just as simple because we have the Goblin Camp already unlocked. Just to fast travel outside and work my way back in. It's just as easy to do that. So that's one of those situations, to illustrate again, where if you get into trouble where you can't get yourself out of an area that you jumped into, I don't want to close the doors. I just want to walk through. Thank you. Just fast travel out. Break your group when you do it. And then just fast travel out. And we don't need to stay up there. Now that we have brought everybody out, we are done up here. With... Actually, we're done with everybody but Lae'zel. So we're going to bring Lae'zel back down.
Noted.
Still alive, so that's progress.
And we're going to take our bard back up.
On my way.
Actually, no, we're not. We're going to group everybody down. I make this mistake every time. So we're going to bring everybody back down here real quick. Where's Will going? Okay, he's coming. And we're going to go up. Back up top in a different way. Okay, so we're going to make our way down through here. And you can see that we have some interesting shenanigans going on in here.
Not dead and heroic. Get down there and stop complaining.
Okay, there are a couple of giant spiders back here, and that poor soul obviously met his end down here. And the spiders are coming out to have a little feasty. We're going to have an interaction with them here in a little bit, and the construction started, so you may be hearing some noise. I apologize. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take everybody up here with the exception of Lae'zel, but it's just going to be quicker if I head up top here. With everybody. Okay, now you can search this chest up here, and again, just some items that you can sell. So now we're going to put everybody in hiding, and now we're going to start concentrating on what to do with Minthara. Now, Minthara is right here. Okay, she also has a goblin down here with her. We have the scrying eye, which is patrolling this area, and we have another goblin Scrut here, who is also on the lookout for this area. And it doesn't really matter if our hiding succeeds or not while we're up here. This patrolling goblin here, Zerga, is the only one that can cause you problems during this encounter. Okay, the rest of them that are patrolling around this area don't come over to this corner and don't have a detection cone that overlaps it. So staying up here can be very, very useful while you go through this. So what I'm going to do is move up here, and we're going to get ready to try and take out the scrying eye. And we want to do it when Scrut is not watching. So to do that, we're going to capitalize on utilizing turn-based mode to do this. There isn't one that I've found a way, Philip, to save him, no. As soon as you walk in there, the encounter triggers. As soon as you take the other way into the spider cave, you're going to find his dead body there waiting for you. So I don't know of any way to save him. So Scrut and the Scry and I are going to be going back and forth, and you want to... There's a time here where Scrut is facing away from the scrying eye, and the scrying eye goes back into the corner, right here. Okay? So, Scrut is still facing this direction, and the scrying eye is now here in this corner, out of sight of everybody. And here is where we want to make our attack against the scrying eye. So, ideally, you want to do this with Astarion. And his sneak attack. Okay, why does he have disadvantage? Outside normal range. Come on, Astarion.
The village to the east. It's abandoned.
Looks that way. But scouts
You're kidding me.
something
Okay.
around out there.
Normally it's not, and I don't know why. His range is way out there. I have no idea why the scrying eye is saying this. So, but we got plenty of attacks here to be able to kill it. Okay, so we got our crit, so we don't even need a regular attack here. But might as well use it. Okay, so now the scrying eye is gone. We can put Astarion back in hiding. We can move our bard back out of the way here. And we can move Astarion back a little bit, and we can exit turn-based mode.
Then they're prepared to die.
Okay. Now Scrut is going to come investigate.
No problem. Dying's the only thing they're good at.
And that's perfectly fine. Even if Scrut does come up the ladder here, doesn't matter. Okay, but most of the time he doesn't. He stays down there. Okay, and did we get another patrolling goblin? Yeah, we do. So you can see Minthara here
Question.
and the other goblin.
I didn't mean nothing by it.
And Scrut's going to go back to his normal patrol pattern now.
Much like your word.
And once he gets back around the corner,
End the ladder.
we want to enter turn-based mode again.
Raiders are just waiting for the word, mistress.
Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing
We're still working on him.
against Scrut. Okay, so we've got a sneak attack against him.
You're being arrested for assault. Judging by the look on this guard's face, you're getting off lightly.
Okay, and Scrut is the only one that's here now. Okay, so now here his detection cone is going to be overlapped
Wonder if the gods are
because he's facing us now.
It's not our
But I can still get off attacks from certain locations. Okay? And now, this goblin here, Zerga, which was the patrolling goblin, has entered into combat with us. And again, we're perfectly fine with all of this. And the reason for it
There's blood in the air.
is because Zerga isn't going to be able to reach us without dashing here. He's 13 meters away, so he's going to have to dash to get up here to get to us. And we kind of want to be ready for that, I guess. So I'm going to take Astarion and move him back out of the way. I'm going to move Lae'zel. Actually, no, I'm just going to leave her where she's at.
Still breathing.
And I still have movement left with my bard, so I'm going to jump my bard back out of the way. And kind of move Lae'zel a little bit away from the edge of the area here. Okay.
Nothing important is
And now I'm going
easy.
to end my turns.
The dance macabre.
And Zerga's going to dash, climb the ladder. And he might attempt to try and push me off. Okay. He didn't. So, and he's still facing the wrong direction, which is a problem for him. because there are a few ways that you can deal with Zerga. So one of them is from where he's at, you can actually position yourself so you can knock Zerga all the way down into the bottom of the spider pit. Okay, so I've got a 91% chance to do this. That's a really long fall. And Zerga's done. And the spiders get a little extra feast. Okay, so Zerga, if he does manage to patrol into this area,
If everyone else minds their business, I'll be fine.
is normally not going to be an issue for you as long as you manage the movement correctly. Normally what I do is I'll take out Scrut here, and then Zerga will come patrolling through this door, and sometimes he will come patrolling through the door like I mentioned, and he will see that we're in combat and he will aggro. But he will aggro way back here as soon as he sees us. And then again, he's more than his movement distance to come over here, turn the corner, come up the ladder, so he has to dash to do it. Once he gets up here, you can just knock him off, or while he's up here, you can just beat him down with your characters up here. But either way, you can take out everybody in the room except for Minthara and her goblin assistant over here all at once, just like that, without any complications or anything like that. So this is how one of the ways that you can manage your aggro, is by using turn-based mode and initiating the attacks from up there. Right? Now, for the Minthara encounter, a couple of different ways to approach it, but there is the cheese way, and there's the more normal way, I guess. The cheese way is that we obviously have a bridge here. That bridge has hit points, 1 hit point to be exact, or the wooden support. So if you can get Minthara or the goblin boss onto the bridge, you can shoot out the wooden support and they will both fall into the void here. And that will end the encounter very quickly. You may run into issues with being able to loot Minthara if you do that, though. So I tend to just deal with Minthara the standard way. I tend not to try and cheese Minthara that way, but you certainly can. So how I tend to play it is by drawing Minthara to us. And now that we've taken out both, or the patrolling goblin here, we don't have to worry about anybody interrupting us from the outside here. It's just us. So we can draw Minthara back here as much as we want. And she can be taking damage that entire way while we go through this. However, we also have another goblin drum back here. And I want to be able to deal with that. So, moving into this room,
It's not our concern. Our prey is elsewhere.
you can see that Minthara and the goblin over here are not aggroed yet. Okay, so it doesn't matter if I get seen here by Minthara. This is Minthara's detection cone here. Doesn't matter if I get seen or not,
How many raiders do we have?
because she's not aggroed. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to move up here and we're going to turn off this makeshift torch.
They're prepared to fight for the absolute.
We're going to move over here and we're going to go back into hiding.
Then they're prepared.
And you see the detection cone for her, even when she's looking in our direction, is not overlapping us. And we want to take out this war drum here. Alright, that just gives us a little bit extra breathing room here so that this goblin boss isn't going to run up here and try and trigger the Warheart and bring in more reinforcements when we're not expecting them. Alright, so I'm going to put my bard back up top here. And going to jump over to this side. Now I'm going to bring Will up here. Actually, no, with Will I'm not. I'm going to leave him down here around the corner. Because with Will's repelling blast, I can, again, gain distance here. Alright? And what I want to do is actually start this off with Lae'zel. Now, this can be a little risky, depending upon how the initiative roll works, but you definitely want to stay off of the bridge. Alright, so I'm just going to move up until I can get within ranged attack distance. Okay, which puts me up to here.
Plenty of lashers, loads of hunters, and a few pariahs to carry the powder
Alright,
keg.
and
These pariahs,
I can do this a few different ways with my Battlemaster traits here. So what I'm going to try and do here, and I don't think this is actually going to work very well if I try it. Okay, so yeah, she's got a +3 bonus on her saving throws. So this is going to be a little difficult with any of these that I try to do it. However, her strength is +3 already. She's getting a +3 bonus to saving throws. However, that +3 bonus to saving throws, I don't think counts. I think this is... Oh, it is a strength save. Okay, not a strength check. So, the disarming attack isn't really a good idea. Yeah, Ostomer, I am going to get rid of her. So, I'm not letting anybody in the Goblin Camp survive here. There are a bunch of playthrough options with Minthara, and feel free to check those out on your own. She has a very complicated plot story, and things can get rather convoluted with her. But yeah, it can be very interesting playing her in different ways. So, but I'm going to try and start this off just with an advantage attack against her.
Your violence hasn't gone unnoticed. It's about to be returned in kind.
Okay. So she rolled high in initiative and she okay, thank goodness. That's the reason that it gets a little harsh. Is because she is a paladin. So she's going to be able to attack with some fairly hefty weapon blows, but she can also cast spells, and Hold Person is one of her favorites to do. So, and I missed the attack, worse off. But again, I have options here on how I want to deal with this, and I'm going to keep Astarion kind of in the background here, in reserve for a bit, and see what I can do with Lae'zel and her attacks against Minthara. So I'm going to try another pushing attack. It's only 45%. Let's see if I can up that a little bit. If I do this, I'm going to get into combat here. But I can... because she's going to get a dex save against that. She's got a really high dex already. That'd be a +5 to her save. So I think I'm just going to She's got a wisdom save against this, so I think I'm just going to cast Combat Inspiration here on Lae'zel. From the shadows, again. And now for a pushing attack ranged. Okay, so I rolled a 12, so this is actually bugged out. So to roll this, I need a 4 out of 6, so it's a 33% chance it's going to hit. Okay, and it worked. Okay, so that moved her farther back from where she is. And now I can kind of take a look at the distance here. So 12 meters. I think movement is still bugged in here. Yeah, it's always showing 0 meters. But she's probably 9 to 12. So I don't think, yeah, she would actually be able to reach me here a little bit. So I'm gonna move back a little bit. And let her come to me. And that was expected. Okay. Okay, that was not expected. Okay, that was a mistake on my part. Alright, so let me explain what happened there. And this is... I briefly went over this once before. And just didn't think about it here. I was actually expecting that my bard, when they cast Combat Inspiration, that would bring my bard into combat. And it didn't, and I put her back into hiding. And I shouldn't have. Because what happened was when Minthara cast Hold Person on Lae'zel, the spell landed, Lae'zel's not able to act anymore. Minthara moved up and her turn ended, but when her turn ended, Lae'zel was not able to act, and nobody else was in combat. So Minthara was able to just go on to her next turn. And she moved right up, did Divine Smites, which all landed as crits because of Hold Person, and one-shotted Lae'zel. If somebody else would have been in combat when Minthara's turn ended, then I would have been able to act, and I could have kept Minthara at a distance, because the plan was that as soon as she moved up here, I was then going to move Will out, and Will would be able to use his Repelling Blast to knock her backward, and keep knocking her back out of the way of me, and not let her get close. But now things have all gone to crap. Because Will has been brought into combat, but his turn has already passed, so to speak. When she moved up, he rolled initiative, it put him there, but he wasn't able to act on this turn. So I'm not going to be able to do anything with him, I don't think. And my camera's going to get a little wonky here. Yeah. See, his turn is not active at all. So I'm going to have to bring Astarion into this fight now. I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to have to. And now Astarion's going to be at a big disadvantage here because I'm not going to be able to get very far here without Astarion being brought into the fight. So hold on just a second, everybody. Okay, I'm back, everybody. Sorry about that. The contractors are working in my room now. So, you hear some noises going on. I apologize. I had to get them kind of settled and started here. So, as I was saying, yeah, things have gone bad here. Because Minthara is now right next to us in melee range of the two squishiest characters that I have, and they're not going to be able to do much on this turn. I'm going to have to hope that I can land something that is going to disable Minthara, and Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Vicious Mockery, Dissonant Whispers, they all are a wisdom save. Tasha's Hideous Laughter is going to, knock her out until she passes that save again. However, all of these have a very low chance of succeeding here. And Minthara in melee range of anybody is a death sentence, as you saw with Lae'zel. So the first thing, as you saw with Lae'zel, so the first thing that I need to do is get Lae'zel back up. Okay. I absolutely need to bring her back into this. And now I need to hope against hope that I can get a spell to land that will either give her disadvantage on her next attack or is incapacitated. And since they're all wisdom saves, I'm just going to try my best to incapacitate her. If I can see her. Okay. This is going to be a problem. She's tucked herself into the one spot where she just can't be seen. Wow, look at this. She picked... I can shoot her, but I can't cast a spell on her. That's amazing. Okay. So, other options here is just dealing as much damage as I possibly can to her. And see if this is going to work or not. Okay. So, Lae'zel has got back up. When you bring her back up from being downed, they lose their action. However, I do have Action Surge, and I don't have any choice here except to go in here with Lae'zel and just try and hit as hard as I can. There's no other way to do this. So I'm going to move in here first with my Pommel Strike and try and get Minthara dazed. That didn't work. And that didn't work either. So Lae'zel's now dead again. And it might actually just kill her outright.
What are they doing? Big trees?
Okay, so from the detection cones here, I need to move...
This will do nicely. Into the shadows.
I'll tell you. Ryan, I was looking at me.
Okay.
What would some drow wizard in Moonrise want to look at you for?
So, that's about all I can do here. Now, Minthara is going to kill Lae'zel. Okay, so she didn't. That's interesting.
Another fight.
Okay, so
go.
let's see. And she didn't move. She did not. So... Okay, so I think what we're going to do here is up Lae'zel's chances to hit here while healing her at the same time. And I don't think any of these line of sight spells are going to work for some weird reason. I can cast Shatter at a point here where it's not going to hit Lae'zel. Okay.
No holding back.
And now Will here, his Eldritch Blast got a 55% chance to hit here. Hold on just a second, everybody. Sorry for the shenanigans, everybody. I apologize. Like I say, the contractors are working here in the room, so now with Will's repelling blast here, I don't think it's actually going to push her. And even if it does, it's not going to push her very far, and it's not really going to give me any benefit here. So I think I'm probably better off just with Scorching Ray instead. Okay, so 2 misses, but I did get a critical hit, and that worked out really well. I should have cast Hex beforehand, but honestly just didn't think about it. Not too worried about Rozak. He's going to dash to get into range here, but... And... yeah, go over there and look for your war drum that's not there. Now please, Lae'zel, can we not get 2 misses here? Please. So, a 60% chance here. Alright. So good. And now, Rozak is again way down here, so he's not going to be able to get to us. So we'll just move Lae'zel up a little bit, and we'll get ready for the next set of turns. Because I'm not too worried about Rozak. He's going to have to move himself down here, so I don't really care if we get hits or not. I want him to come to me.
This is my time. Finding my way.
So I'm just pre-positioning
Where do I go from
at
here?
this point. Yeah, it started off really well, and then I made a tactical mistake, Philip. It was just, it's something that would not happen in tabletop if the encounter was allowed to proceed that way. But in the game, it just, like I say, completely dismissed it from my thoughts, and yeah, best laid plans. So Rozak's going to dash to get up close to us, which is perfectly fine. Okay. So I'm going to again move back. Again, not really caring about what's happening here, just getting in some damage and getting far enough back that if Rozak gets to me, he's going to have to dash to get to me.
It comes easy these days.
Okay, and again, I'm not worried about
These boots have
Xing
seen
or any of that other sort of stuff at this point again, because Rozek's dead one way or another. It's just a matter of time. Yeah, see. So, wasn't a big deal, and even if he survived that turn, he wasn't going to get to me. So, and the other thing you want to do is make sure that you don't knock out the bridge during your combat there. Okay, and now you can come in here, and we do have some scrolls and a chest that we can loot. And we're going to go over and talk to, and we get the water sparkers in here. We'll talk about those here in a minute. Okay, and there is another shield up here you can pick up. Yeah, that's what we're going to do, Peter. So over here you have a potion of healing, which we are going to need. And we're going to go back over here. Finish up the last bit of looting real quick.
I'm hungry.
And these are just regular books. Oh, there's a crystalline lens here. Okay. Interesting. So they added in a drop from the scrying eye to add in a crystalline lens. And that was that an essence? Yes. Okay, so can't see what it goes to yet. But yeah, they added in a drop from that. So now we're going to move over here, and like I said, oh, we got a scroll of Scorching Ray up here we can pick up. And now we're going to cast Speak with the Dead on Minthara. And to do that, again, we need to... She's not going to respond to the person or the party that killed her. So but we can use the shapeshift here. And then, oh, why is it not listed in here? Oh, because of our shenanigans using it last time. Okay. Because I don't think that's going to work. It's not. Yeah, it's not. Okay. So, our testing at the end of last episode has kind of messed this up. And that's my fault for not thinking about that. So, while we're here,
time to press ahead.
I don't know if we can actually take a long rest in here or not. We can. We're just going to quickly take a long rest just to get out of here. Oh. Okay, we'll deal with this cutscene first.
The air is heavy. Moisture drips down your forehead. Pain shoots through your fingers. Your hands shake as they reach upward. Your forehead remains drenched no matter how much you wipe.
Chukil Gate Vlakith Mazathok. Can you feel it crawling through you? Tendrils squirming in your chest, gripping your heart, piercing your belly. Your bones popping, your flesh swelling. I can. I see it in you. I feel it in me. We are lost. I will be quick with my blade. First you, then the others, then myself.
Your minds intertwine. You sense a touch of uncertainty, a touch of disgust.
Okay. So, if you don't like Lae'zel, you can end Lae'zel right now, if you want. You can actually kill Lae'zel right here by passing this deception check. If you would like. She will actually let you kill her. You can actually end your game right here by surrendering to Lae'zel and let her kill you. Or you have some other options here. So we do have, because we're a bard, we have advantage on this persuasion check. So this is the way that we're going to go. But there are multiple very interesting ways to play this. So we need to roll at least a 7 here out of these 2 die. Thank goodness for advantage.
I cannot trust my own mind. So it seems I must trust yours. I will wait. But know this. I am watching. If the sickness does not pass come dawn, I will end us all. I came just in time. You are transforming.
Yes, you have. I saved you before. And I'm here to save you again. Don't worry. You will not become a mind flayer. Not while I'm around. I'll protect you.
Okay, there are multiple ways to play the encounters with what at this point is your guardian.
Independent. Good. We haven't much time, so listen closely. There is great potential within you. It comes from that parasite. Your instinct is to resist the power it gives, but you must accept it, nurture it. I will keep it from consuming you, but for the sake of both of us, you must learn to wield it. A fight for the fate of Faerun. A fight we are losing. For now. You can change that, but only if you embrace your potential. I have to go. The enemy is closing in. I will be back. Feel better. I promise.
Okay, so a lot of things happened there, and I wasn't planning to, I just, again, forgot about this part that we had already had 2 tadpole interactions, tadpole power uses, and this was going to trigger. But it expanded upon the Embrace Your Potential quest. We were visited in our dreams by a mysterious figure who told us that our parasites are special and the source of great potential. What happens now is the parasite specimens that you have here in your inventory, and we have at least a couple spread between, there's at least a couple here. Yeah, we've got 3 so far that we've picked up. You can now consume those.
This one is a true soul parasite. It can enhance you. You can absorb its potential. Open your mind to it. You already know how.
Okay, so before we go down this road, you do not have to do any of these. You don't have to go down this road at all. You can resist the urging of your guardian and not take advantage of any of these. However, and this is definitely not tabletop, but these tadpoles open up an entirely new line that we're going to explore at least a little bit. Not a whole lot on this particular playthrough, but we're going to explore it a little bit. So we're going to open our mind to the tadpole here.
Your mind swells as it subsumes everything the tadpole has to offer. Everything it was and everything it was destined to be. Pure potential. Pure power.
Good. You have grown your power and improved your chances of survival.
Okay, so now you can see that we have a new icon that's popped up here, and this leads us into your illithid powers. Now, again, nothing in here is, official D&D canon. These are all things that, because of this adventure, are allowing you to expand your abilities. And there are a bunch of abilities here. There are 3 different rings of abilities out here, this ring, and then the ring that's open to us. And to unlock the next ring, you have to have a power selected here. So it's kind of like a connection game. But then the outer ring are also going to be locked until you get a special type of tadpole to consume to unlock them. So for now, I'm not going to go through all the illithid powers here. Some of them are extraordinarily helpful and are very useful for you as you're playing. Some of them, not so much. But what I'm going to do is just quickly explore 2 of them. And first is favorable beginnings. So the first attack roll or ability check I make against any target gains a bonus equal to your proficiency bonus. Well, right now my proficiency bonus is +2. As you level up, it keeps going up. So that first attack roll or ability check against any other target is much more likely to succeed with this. This can be very useful for any of your martial-based characters. Here, maybe not so much playing as a bard. However, it's going to unlock something else. Okay, so what you're able to do now is take one of your tadpoles, drag it on top of it, and unlock it. Now you can see it unlocks the 2 segments of the brain that are connected to it. Okay, in this outer ring here. And the next that we're going to deal with is Luck of the Far Realms. Now this is probably the single most overpowered illithid power in the game. It used to be a lot more OP than what it is now, because now it's once per long rest. However, this allows you to basically say that anytime that you get a successful attack roll, that first time that you make it, you can automatically guarantee it's going to be a crit. Now, for my bard, again, not being a martial character, this isn't nearly as important, but for a martial character, this can be incredibly powerful, and you're going to see how this gets expanded in the Paladin playthrough, because as a half-orc Paladin, if I land a hit, I can then automatically make it a crit, which means that instead of, with a half-orc, instead of rolling 2 crit dice, I'm rolling 3 crit dice. And then also I can add Divine Smite to that as well. So Luck of the Far Realms allows you, where you used to have the regular atomic bombs, now you have thermonuclear weapons when it comes to your martial classes, especially your Paladin. So for a bard, again, not as important, however, can still be important for dealing damage, especially at range for your bard. However, if you went down the swords path for your bard and you're making a melee bard, then this can be very powerful as well because of the multiple attacks that bards are going to be able to get. So again, not going to go through a bunch of these different categories here. But for now, I am going to move up to Luck of the Far Realms just to be able to get that additional crit for dealing damage if I need it. And then you can continue looking at the others. We're going to expand more on this when we get into our full long rest. We're not actually going to finish our long rest here. We want to get back to the action. A bunch of people want to talk to us and that sort of stuff. And we're going to have to deal with those conversations. But all the other standalone conversations with everybody, we're not going to do. Okay? But if they have the icon, we definitely want to get these out of the way.
My condition is worsening again. I need to consume some powerful magic or it may become volatile.
Okay, so let's see what we have here as far as magical items, and I know which one we're going to utilize here. We actually just picked it up. So, the water sparkers are an interesting item that we just picked up. They allow you to, whenever you stand in water, that water becomes electrified. And whenever you start your turn in that electrified water, you gain 3 lightning charges. However, that electrified water is also going to cause damage to you. It's also going to cause damage to everyone else standing in that water. But there is a ring that lets you become immune to electrification. And in that case, these two can work much more in concert with each other. However, you do have to be standing in that water. So you're either dropping a water jug on yourself if there's no water around or something like that. It's much more situational, but can be very, very useful. Okay, don't discount it just because I'm getting rid of it here. But in my playthrough here, I'm not going to use it, so I'm just going to let him take that.
Thank you. It is a strange experience. Each time anew, like a lost soul is spelunking through the darkness that is me, only to be sacrificed on the dread altar of the heart. But this doesn't feel quite right. I mean, it never feels right, but it relieves. This doesn't relieve. Oh. The magic isn't having the effect it should have. It's not like the last time, like a rainstorm that quells a forest fire. It merely drizzles. The embers still sizzle, the Fire remains undefeated. I'm not certain what's going on, but nothing good. Please, I need to think. I need to retrace my steps to a glade of calm and think. Thank you for the artifact. A great deal of trouble it was, too. A great deal of trouble indeed.
Okay, so we'll just quickly get our conversation with Shadowheart out of the way, and then we'll head back in.
There's something I've been wanting to share with you, if now's a good time. It's difficult to put into words. I think it might be easier to just show you. Use the tadpole. The connection. Come into my mind. I'm sure. I trust you. I don't remember how it started. Only how it ended. I was fleeing. She asked my name. Can't remember what I said. Can't remember anything before those words. All I know is she saved my life and gave me a new home with Lady Shah. It hurts. That's all I remember.
Something sparks in your memory about Selûnite rites of passage. You heard once about how they would send their children out into the wilds to navigate their way home.
You're reading too much into things. A childhood bauble, that's all. Just because Selûnites claim something doesn't mean they own it. Lady Shah. But yes, her and those who saved me and taught me her ways. The Mother Superior. She made me who I am. At least as best as I can remember. She taught me, trained me, punished me when I failed her. Which was often. Perhaps I was. She sent me on this mission, after all. I know. I felt it. Yes. No. I don't know. The artifact seems to have powers. And a will of its own. It protects us. I don't know how or why, but I'm glad. I felt it go from me to you. You need its help, just as it needs us. It's still just a box, after all. Might not be possible. It's stubborn that way, prone to lashing out. Keep it for now. We can all help to protect it.
Okay, so we learned a quite a bit more than meets the eye from that encounter, or that memory, from Shadowheart. Like I say, Shadowheart's questline is amazing in this game, and we're going to get to explore more of it in a couple of different ways. But for now, we're just going to head back. And now that I'm back here, it looks like Astarion wants to talk real quick.
So, you've indulged. Just helped yourself to a little more power, I see. And there isn't a tentacle to be seen. Not a bad deal, I'd say. My only complaint is that you didn't want to share. I wouldn't mind indulging myself. I admit, I wasn't keen to be the first to try it, just in case there were any, surprise side effects. But now that we know it's safe, I'm all for experimenting. I might just hold you to that.
Okay, and that brings us to an interesting topic. The other characters in your party and in your group have different feelings about the Mind Flayer parasites. Some of them will want to indulge in them, some of them will be hesitant and will take some convincing. Others are unlocked and ready to use. So you can use the Tadpoles on other party members as well. And you're going to see me do that throughout this, but first, for Astarion, having these two can be very, very useful, because if he's critting with his sneak attack and he's doubling his damage, that can be very useful to start things off, and then that first attack roll is going to gain a proficiency bonus on his proficiency bonus on it. So don't forget that you can utilize your Tadpoles to improve the origin characters as well, as long as they're open to the, to taking them on. All right. So now I am going to go back in here and swap these back out where they were. I am going to shapeshift. Now I'm going to cast Oh, I can't. Yes, I can. She's over here. For a second, I was like, oh no, they disappeared. So now I'm going to cast Speak with the Down on Minthara after I've shapeshifted.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Underdark, Menzo Baron's on. Raiding, hunting, the Absolute's will. Minthara, Adept, House Bane Ray. God, everything, the future. By my side.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, well, there's a lot of lore there. It's actually kind of impressive how much lore went into that. And I'm not going to go into the Drow history and how I pronounce Menzo Baranzan, as opposed to how she does it. Or House Benray. I would encourage you to go look all of that up, because there's so much. The Drow houses are just so
Good here, I hope.
impressive. And there's a lot going on with them, and it's really cool to read the lore and history behind them. So on Minthara here, we're going to get another Mind Flayer specimen. We're going to also pick up the Boots of Striding. Now, these are just great in that they allow you to get momentum whenever you cast a spell that requires concentration. So that spell, that concentration can come from a lot of different places, including casting protection from good and evil on yourself, and that sort of stuff. So for paladins starting off combat and things like that, being able to gain momentum for that one turn gives you that 3 extra meters of movement. However, also for your support characters, being able to move around the battlefield after they move in and, say, cast an AoE spell that needs concentration, like Cloud of Daggers, and then moving out of the area after they've done it, can be very, very useful as well, as long as you have the ability to equip medium armor, because that's what they are. They're not clothing, so you need to be prepared for that when you're dealing with your proficiencies. You're also going to pick up the Spider Silk armor. So for light armor, armor class 12, fairly standard. However, you're going to gain advantage on Constitution saving throw checks with the Spider Silk armor, which is its unique trait, so to speak. It's okay. It's not great, not good, not great, not, bad, but there are some bonuses that, if you don't have anything else, you might as well use it. Cyanide is actually pretty cool, in that once per short rest, if you make an attack with it and you miss a target, then that target gets Fairy Fire cast on them, which means that your next attack is then going to have advantage. But, however, every other attack from any of your other party members is also going to have advantage against them. So it can be very, very useful for certain types of characters to use. As for the rest of it, standard drow leather stuff. You also get her at ease clothing. She has this because she is a recruitable party member, so she is able to be brought into your party. She also has the Spider's Lyre. Now, this is something new to the full version here. This was not in early access, but it's just a special, unique lyre that you can use, and we might as well send that to for me to pick up and utilize. Might as well. And then laying on the ground over here next to her is a goblin scimitar that we can pick up. So I'm going to change out my loot of the Merryweather Bard here for this lyre. And again, that's going to change the sound effects that happen whenever I cast a spell, basically. Okay. So for the rest of it, I think I'm fairly okay with the rest of it. Okay, so he does have just leather armor +1 right now, so I can give him the Spider Silk armor. And he's got the Spider Step boots right now, but I don't think Astarion is... Yeah, he's just got light armor proficiency. He does not have medium armor proficiency. So he's not going to be proficient with those boots if we give them to him. So for now, I'm going to leave things as they are. We're going to go through quite a bit more of that as we continue on here. But for now, that clears out the Minthara fight. Okay? Should be a lot more simple than I made it. However, just caused us some issues there because of my lack of paying attention. So no, I picked up everything. I picked up all of her items, which should have included the tadpole. Yeah, see, I've got one more tadpole now. So, picked them all up. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to move into this room, and we're going to move up this ladder. Nobody in this room is hostile. Nobody's going to want to interact with us. So we're going to take this opportunity to climb up here to the top. And once we get over here, we're going to break the group. And we're going to take Lae'zel back down.
Objective noted.
And we're going to move Lae'zel back over here. Actually, we're not first. We're going to close this door behind us now.
Curious.
Okay, that is key to making sure that you minimize the aggro that you're going to grab during this encounter. So I'm going to take Lae'zel, I'm going to put her back here, and I'm going to put her into hiding. As far as the rest of my characters here, so from here I'm going to position them in various locations throughout this upper area, and I'm doing that because I'm going to initiate the combat from up here. Now there are several ways to get up here. There's a ladder over here, there's the ladder here that we came up. There's also another ladder down here. The combatants, when they try and get up to you, tend to utilize this ladder here or this one on this side. So we want to position our characters so that they're able to attack enemies that come up that may come up those ladders, while at the same time staying far enough away that if somebody does come up the ladder, they're not able to get all the way up to us and attack. There are multiple ways to move around up here with all of these beams, and you're going to see us take full advantage of that as we go through this. So I'm going to move Astarion over here to this side and put him into hiding.
Breathe quiet.
That was supposed to be Astarion.
Well, hello. Watch the shadows.
And again, while nobody's aggroed on us, we can move around freely up here. I'm going to put him into hiding. My bard, I'm going to leave, or I'm going to move up here. Don't need to be in hiding right now. And I'm going to move over onto this platform over here, and again, go into hiding. And then I'm going to move onto this platform over here, and again, go into hiding. Alright. Now, this is how I normally start the positioning here, and the reason for this, I'm actually going to take Will and move him a bit farther into this corner. I'm now going to kick this off with Astarion. And I'm going to start this off in a little bit different way. So, Narvas and Kagrin here are standing right underneath this brazier. So what I'm going to do is take a shot at the brazier here. Okay, and I'm going to put Astarion back into stealth and move him all the way down to here. You can see that one of them died. Narvas managed to survive it. Okay, but that managed my stealth check to be successful, so... And what happened was Dror climbed up here to investigate. He's going to look around for a little bit. Okay, so he did see me, but that's perfectly fine. I am not too worried about that at all. And the reason for that is because of the myriad different ways that we can deal with Dror here. So what we want to do is now kind of focus on removing him from this upper platform. Okay. And we have a lot of movement options here that are available to us, like I said, along this top area. So we're going to see if we can move Will over here. And see if we can get him into a spot. Okay, so I'm not going to want to do it from there. And I don't know if I cross into here if I'm going to get brought into combat or not. These detection cones can be a little weird in how they render up here. I don't think it should enter me into combat, but we'll try it and see. Okay, so we're fine here. What I would like to do is get Will all the way over here. And now what I would like to do is try and knock Dror all the way back down there to the bottom. And one way to do that is with Repelling Blast. Okay. So he took 43 points of fall damage there. And now the top is cleared off again. Okay. If that didn't work, then I could bring Lae'zel up here and have her get behind him or beside him and try and shove him off of the top. Or I could use one of her pushing attack ranged to try and do it as well. All right, but this is what we're going to try and do is maintain control. We're going to play King of the Hill here, while at the same time trying to eliminate as many enemies as we can from down below. Now, if I go look at Lae'zel, you can see where the detection cones are here and how they're going to work. So right now, I could get behind and take out Narvas really easily, but not too worried about Narvas down here. So I'm going to, again, hold Lae'zel's turn, I think.
Keeping my head down. Let's see what
and look and see. Okay, so I'm going to wait for them to do a little bit of movement and see if things change a little bit. But for now, I'm going to move my bard out to a position where we can get off a shatter on multiple enemies. So let's go ahead and move her over to this now vacated platform where Will used to be. And see what I can do with Shatter here. So this is going to be a little bit buggy working from up here because of the camera view. And it trying to snap to multiple things. But here I can hit Dror as well as the devout. Okay, so brought her into combat. Dror's now down to 5. Took out the sharp eye. Caused some damage to the devout as well. So from here, it's really just cleaning things up, so to speak. And I'm going to start that off with Astarion by going into hiding. And I'm going to be focusing on the Booyogs and the Devouts. So the Booyogs, the Warlock, and the Devouts are the ones that you want to be focused on here. They're your spellcasters, your ranged. They're the ones that are able to hit you from down there. I don't really care that much about Dror anymore. He's so minimized as to be almost nothing. I want to focus on the others. So... Okay, so here is Luck of the Far Realms triggering. It's a reaction, and it always asks you if you want to use it. So I used a ranged attack. I needed 11 to hit. I rolled a 13, so it's successful. So now Luck of the Far Realms can trigger and turn this into a crit. Since it wasn't a sneak attack, I may as well do this and just illustrate how it works. Guaranteed crit. Okay, and that knocked out the Warlock Bolt, which is exactly what we wanted to do.
Now they see me.
The warrior's going to dash and try and climb a ladder. Not too worried about any of that. Okay, and now I have an opportunity here because now the warrior Huck is going to, on his next turn, is going to climb that ladder, and he's going to be within 8 meters of me, so he can climb the ladder and get within melee range here, and you definitely don't want to allow that. So I'm going to move Will back farther away from the ladder here. And we're just going to cast Hex on someone. It doesn't matter who at this point.
Here goes nothing.
And now with Lae'zel, do I have any changes to the detection cones? I don't. So I'm going to wait for the next turn to bring her in.
Never a dull
Again,
moment.
there's no present urgent need for Lae'zel to be in the fight right this second.
Sometimes the only way out is through.
Okay, so again, we can look around and see if there's anything that we need to do here. I can cast Hunter's Mark, and I might as well. And I'm going to move her slightly back out of the way. Play the drum, please. Okay, good deal. So this is going to cause goblin reinforcements to come in. Dror's back up, cast his leadership aura again, nothing serious there. And you can see the new goblins that came in here. They're not high-powered goblins by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, I did forget about this rope ladder here. I need to remember that. Okay, so by playing the drum, that draws the reinforcements from other locations. And that's why with the doors closed, it doesn't matter if the drum gets played. Okay? So that's why if you want to minimize your aggro here, you need to take out the drum first before you start dealing with this combat. You can do that at any point during the encounter. For me, I just want the extra XP, so I'm not too worried about managing the aggro. But this is how you can avoid it, by closing the doors behind you, and when combat starts, taking out the war drum first. And then you won't have to worry about any of these. Nobody will come in here, and the rest of these rooms are completely separated from you. You don't have to worry about any reinforcements or anything like that. Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm not worried about it at all. So that's why I'm letting all of them come in, just for the extra XP that I'm going to have. So from here, and I wish these weren't all outside of normal range. That's bugging me. But here, Warrior Huck is going to come up that ladder next. And that should be perfectly fine for him to come up the ladder. He's going to have to dash to do it, but however, he might dash and then use his bonus action to try and shove Will off of here. I think what we're going to do here is move Astarion into a spot where he can take that first attack here, because I don't want him knocking Will, coming up behind Will and knocking Will off down to here. That would be really bad. So let's just get off an attack on somebody down below, and again, we're going to focus on the Devouts and people like that, and then we're going to move Astarion over here. That's going to be within range of Warrior Huck on his turn, so he's going to walk up here and he's going to attack Astarion. And we'll see if Astarion can avoid that attack. Okay. What I didn't want him to do was, like I say, push Will off of here, because now Will can get his back. So again, just playing a King of the Hill at this point, and not much worrying about anything else. So wait. Aren't I already hexed? Yes, I am. Okay. So that's going to end Will's turn. I'm actually just going to move him back a little bit from the edge here.
Nothing will stand in my way.
Now here, I need to get rid of this rope ladder, because I forgot about it. And I don't want Dror or anybody climbing this rope ladder. Okay. Now, bunch of different ways to do that. However, one of them I can do, and this is still glitchy. And this is your, Lord Henry, your comment about pressing O. It's still just as glitchy when you're in a verticality environment. But I'm going to cast Cloud of Daggers here, and you can see it's going to hit the rope ladder, as well as Dror and this other goblin down here. Okay, why didn't it hit the rope ladder? It was supposed to hit the rope ladder. Is it just outside of the range of it? Okay, that's horrible. Okay, I'm not going to have a whole lot of choice here. I need to get rid of this rope ladder. I do not have a choice here. And it's 6 hit points. This is an all-in thing here if I do this. I needed to roll high, and I did not. So, now I just need to get out of here. Move away from that rope ladder as much as I can. And see if I can cut it off next turn. I don't know why Cloud of Daggers didn't cause damage to the rope ladder. But either way, as long as I maintain concentration, it's going to cause damage against anybody who wants to use it. Okay. So, for Astarion here, we're now kind of getting to the point where we need to eliminate this Booyog. We absolutely have to do that. So, let's throw up an arrow here.
That won't work.
Okay, so we did clear out the warrior. The Booyog saved against it. Not a big deal, though. We have another warrior that's about ready to come up, right? Yep, we do. Okay, so I'm going to keep the same thing here with Astarion. However, yes, I am going to keep that with Astarion. And now here, we're already hexed on the strength here, so the Booyog is probably going to go flying. Okay. Now I can reapply Hex Strength again. Okay, so let's just move somewhere. And now for my Bard, again, we're not really too worried about the melee characters here. We can just finish off the Sharp Eye, get rid of a ranged character, and there's Luck of the Far Realms. I don't really need it. Okay, we're going to move back over here and make it so that these two have to dash to get to me. So I can cast Vicious Mockery down here, so that when he climbs the ladder, he's going to have disadvantage on his attack. Oh, he's saved. And I'm going to move myself back entirely out of the way so he can't get to me and push me off. They're both going to dash. And now that everybody's up here, and they're all facing away from me, it's time to bring in the cavalry. Because now up here at the top you can see that there are no detection cones overlapping the ladder. So I can move Lae'zel all the way in here. And now it just becomes a matter of who do I want to go after first. So, with Warrior Bez here, I'm going to move up. Right behind him, I'm going to do a pushing attack melee. See ya. And now Astarion, he's got a really small chance to be able to take care of Warrior Druk, but I'm going to go to Will first. And I think this is going to move, and it missed. Okay, thank you. Alright, so now I will use Astarion to we're going to be a low chance to be able to shove him here. Okay, and even if I can, none of that's going to push him off. Just trying to maneuver yourself just slightly. Let's actually just go ahead and utilize my action and my attack and my offhand attack as well. Okay, so that worked out well enough.
This is my time.
No choice but to keep going.
And for me, this is going to get a little interesting. Let me take Will and cancel his end turn and move him over here.
I wonder if this is worth the cost.
I'm gonna move to the opposite side over here.
What path lies before me?
Okay, that gives him disadvantage on his next attack, and that's good enough for now. I could kill him right now, but again, I don't really need to. With the luck of far, well, I might as well. No reason not to. Okay, so that clears out the upper area here again. He's going to be able to climb the ladder probably with his dash. And see if he tries to knock somebody off. Nope, he didn't.
Use your lithid potential.
Kind of took it for granted that was going to land.
This is my time.
Little strength, or hex strength again. So his ability to avoid the pushing effect will be reduced. And that's that. So, as I said, it's really all about maintaining the high ground here. Just play King of the Hill with them, and it doesn't matter how many reinforcements they call in. You're not really going to have all that much problem as long as you can manage your movements. Like I say, we took, what is this, 7 points of damage here throughout the entire encounter. So it wasn't really anything that even got a little bit sporty. It's just managing everything. So, did pick up a key there. That key is, and we're going to have, oh, the cage key also. Okay, so that's new in the full version as well. So we're just going to search everybody who managed to die up here. And then we'll head back down and loot the rest of it. Okay, we did pick up another... This is an arrow of darkness. We'll send that off to Astarion.
There's an illithid parasite in that corpse. You should take a look.
And there is. So now we'll group everybody back up and we'll head down this ladder. Actually, we won't. Well, we'll bring everybody down, but then we'll ungroup.
Indolence breeds madness.
And we'll take Lae'zel back up because I forgot to search the chest that's right up here. Don't forget that there's a heavy chest right over here. Gives you some more arrows for Astarion. There's another crate over here in the corner. Some thieves' tools, which I don't think he needs any. Put these up to sell them.
This'll do.
Okay, and now we'll group everybody back up and we can just do the quick searches down here, and we're just having Lae'zel pick up all this extraneous loot for now.
Repositioning.
And now that Dror Ragzlin is done, we'll finish the searching down here. Dror is over here. Yes. So we'll finish picking up a little bit of this, and we're going to close the doors again. Okay, got our Arrow of Roaring Thunder back, which is always useful, especially with the verticality like that. Okay, and we're going to close this door again.
Within reach.
Alright.
Let's get going.
Alright, so from here we're in that same situation where we can't really cast Speak with the Dead on Dror because of the fact that we were the ones that killed him. So the shapeshift option here and then we can recast Speak with the Dead.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Squid, ship, fugitives, needs. Beast rotting, looter, warg pens. Absolute binds obedience.
Okay, and so we learned again that Halsin's down on the warg pens. And we're going to pick up a couple of things here. Obviously, a new Mind Flayer Parasite. You get those from all the True Souls. That's why we picked up 3 in here. 1 from Priestess Gut, 1 from Minthara, and now 1 from Dror. We pick up Dror Ragzlin's key. We're going to see what that's used for here in a second. The most disappointing key in the world most of the time. And we've got Faithbreaker. Faithbreaker is a +1 Warhammer. Warhammers are versatile, which makes them kind of nice to be able to use with your sword and board type of characters. Now we're going to make our way back here toward the back. And all of these that are marked as steel, there's nobody here to see us. And here, there's going to be a bunch more camp supplies. And these camp supplies are mostly high-value camp supplies. So, this is a great place to come and restock if you've done a lot of long resting here. Be careful not to pick up or shoot the smoke powder barrels. Keep Lae'zel's flaming sword swinging away from it. However, if you do want to pick up the smoke powder barrels and use them for some barrelmancy, feel free. There are a bunch, a few of them here to use. And again, I just can't stop watching that video with 4 halfling barbarians. That is just one of the greatest BG3 videos of all time. Okay, and now we have this gate here. It's locked. However, Dror Ragslin's key opens it, and we have this. The proverbial pile of loot at the end of the dungeon here. In early access, this was the most disappointing pile of loot you have ever seen. It was gloriously idiotic how little you got from all of this. They have made some adjustments in the full version here, though, thankfully. And things have improved quite a bit on what's here. And we'll go through these a little bit here. So, the Amulet of Selûne's Chosen gets you the Selûne's Dream cantrip. This is basically, it's not much, but it is still, better. Getting 12 gold out of this previously in early access was just stupid. But here you get Selûne's Dream as a cantrip. This is a cantrip that you can cast once per long rest to give you 1d8 healing. So it doesn't get to any ally or yourself 1d8 healing. It's kind of like Cure Wounds, except for the meaning that it's melee based. However, the problem with it is that whoever you heal possibly could fall asleep. If you're doing that in combat, that can be really, really bad. So it's got some ups and downs. However, if you are not in combat, it's free healing, basically, once per long rest. So like right now, where I'm down a few hit points, I could use Selûne's Dream without taking up a spell slot to heal me a little bit, and then just unequip it and replace it with something else. So it is free healing one way or another. We do have some more Infernal Iron here, which is always good. And we have the Gloves of the Growling Underdog. These are a great set of gloves for your tank type characters that are meant to be waiting in the middle of everything. These gloves become a lot more useful early game for what I would be doing with my paladin playthrough. When you switch to sword and board, and you're meant to be like down there on the ground floor in the middle of all those goblins surrounded by a whole bunch of creatures, while you've got a shield out and your armor class is really high and you're avoiding all of their attacks, this is going to give you advantage on any attacks when you're surrounded by 2 or more enemies. So these can be very, very useful in situations where you have a lot of especially low strength enemies that are around you at any one time. But for any of your frontline melee characters, can be situationally extremely useful. This comes in and think about those times later on in this game where you have multiple enemies that keep spawning in and come after you. Think about how how great it could be to have advantage on all your melee attack rolls when you're getting into situations like that. And then you have the Spring Step Boots. These are another way to gain momentum. So whenever you dash, then you gain momentum for 3 turns. So this is one of those Astarian things. And they added a cool effect of cleaning it all out, and it's no longer covered with gold. Once in early access, it just stayed looking like a big gold pile. So, but for Astarian, for the spring step boots are great, but they're situational. If you know you're going into, or not the spring step boots, but the spider step boots. The spring step boots, however, with Astarian dashing all of the time, this just means he can gain momentum while he's dashing, and just gain even more movement speed. Not many of the other characters are going to be dashing, so they're not very useful after that. Now, we do have another option for Will with his boots here. We have to keep in mind that Will isn't going to be a constant member of this particular party. He's just in here while we finish clearing out the Goblin Camp, and then after that he's going to be gone. So I don't want to be utilizing a whole lot with him at this exact second, but for right now, any of these boots are a straight upgrade for him. They're both clothing. Doesn't really matter what he wears. Okay, and I can put my Cap of Curing back on here. Oh, and for those of you who don't know, if you click on, or click on a piece of headgear or a piece of armor, it's going to show you all the things in your inventory or in anybody's inventory that you have to replace it with. Okay, so it's an easy way to go through and see what headgear options you have instead of sorting through and seeing what's down there, or sorting through multiple people's inventory to look at it. It also will have a little icon down here telling you that it's equipped by somebody, so at first glance you can instantly tell whether or not it's being utilized by somebody else in your party. So, but the gloves of the Growling Underdog right now are better than what I have for Lae'zel. And I think that's it for now. Right? Yeah, because she's still got Giant Breaker. The Boots of Striding. I'm wearing the Boots of Aid and Comfort, which is better. So yes, I think that's it for now.
No one back home will ever believe this. Have to keep going.
So now we've cleared out Dror Ragzlin, and if we look at our quest journal here. So with Dror dead, the goblins have no leadership. We've killed all 3 of the leaders here, so they're done. So we should talk to the tieflings about that. We haven't searched for Halsin yet, and this is where we're going to be going with the last bit of the playthrough here. And that is just to clear out the remaining goblins that are in here.
Let's see what this does.
Now, these goblins should not be hostile here. Okay, so they're all gone. These goblins are still here. So we're going to clean these goblins out here. Actually, we'll take care of this encounter first. So we're going to have Astarian go in here and... Why did I send him into hiding? Or did he was just still in hiding. Okay. So for Astarian here, I'm going to have him cast Guidance.
Yes, let's.
I'm going to have him walk up here to the trap. Okay, so he failed his perception check.
I have a lot on my mind. And, well...
I don't need shape-shifting anymore.
Should mind my step. Be wary.
Okay, so we learned that the cage door is trapped. That's the main thing that you need to learn there. If you just go up and you open the cage door, things are going to get bad. Okay, so we've got bonuses almost scrolling off the screen here, and watch us roll 2 ones. Okay. Decent roll. And now we can lockpick the door.
Look at where the Absolutes love gotten. Dead! Thanks for breaking me out. Gonna find me a new tribe. One that appreciates the old ways.
So Brakkal here was not a convert to the Absolute. He still worshipped the goblin god Maglabiet, and he was kept in that cage because of it. So now he's pretty happy about the fact that that they all ended up getting killed.
On my way. Let's get in and out.
We're going to make our way up here a little bit, and we're going to toggle our group, and with Astarion,
Nice and easy.
kind of make our way up here and start things off. And actually, I'm going to try and start things off over here. Okay, so Astarion getting his... So just slightly out of range there. And now I'm going to move Astarion back out of the way. Actually, might as well put him on high ground up here. No reason not to. He's got the movement range to get there. These two are going to dash to try and get close to me. The sharp eye here is ranged. He's going to dash, and he's probably going to see my other characters here, but I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so a couple more here. And like I say, this is... They're such low hit points, it doesn't really matter. I don't have to go through all of these steps. They're just... They're easy to deal with and not much of a problem.
Well, so much for peace.
Just gonna let him come to me. So again, not too worried about any of this. I'm not trying to maximize my attacks on them, I'm just going through the motions here. Okay, so I should be good up here.
Ready or not?
And that ends that. So, like I say, none of these are going to be hard, so you're not going to see me, you know, min-maxing my combat here. They're all easy things to take care of.
Let's have a look.
And this is all just more stuff that Lae'zel's going to be able to sell. Or that we're going to be able to sell later on. Don't need any of that.
All's well that ends not as bad as it could have. What's hiding here?
Okay, so I don't think... I have another...
Eager for battle.
potion of animal speaking anywhere on me.
Sharp as ever. What now?
I do not. Okay.
Can't give up now.
You can talk to the rat here. If you have a potion of animal speaking, you will learn about sparklies down below, is basically what it's saying. And there's nothing up here that goes in with that. I think it's actually a reference to the Underdark, but I'm not entirely sure. If anybody in chat, because when I first got the interaction with the rat with animal speaking, I learned about that. I thought there was some secret place you could jump to or look to. Couldn't find anything. I went online and looked at the forums and had people talking about it too, but nobody else could find anything. If anybody knows of anything that rat dialogue is specifically talking about, then let me know in the chat. But if you have animal speaking, you can get a little dialogue from him. Okay, so now in here, I'm definitely going to hide again. And here, I'm just going to clear out this wardroom. Yeah, I don't think there is anything to be found.
Time to press ahead.
And now what we're going to do is... Actually, I don't have my potion of animal speaking. I've never done this encounter without
What do we have here?
a potion of animal speaking. I'll think about that. Okay, so out here you have the rest of this outside room here. And you can see they're all now marked in red. And as we move up a little bit closer, you can see that all of them are now marked as hostile. Okay, the red icons. So... that's a good question. I don't know as if I've unlocked the recipe. I haven't. I haven't unlocked the recipe for it. So I'm actually anxious to know if it can work or not. If you have a potion of animal speaking, you can talk to the two spiders here. You can have a conversation with them, and during that conversation, you can convince them to attack the goblins. And you can... There's a lever down here that can open up this grate. And yes, that's right, Nicholas. As soon as you attack Dror, being their leader, everything becomes hostile. That's why you close the doors behind you and minimize how many people are able to see you at any one time. But they shouldn't all come running in all at once. You have to aggro them at that point. So... But if you have a potion of animal speaking, you can convince the spiders to attack the goblins. There's a lever down here which will bring the gate up, and they will walk out here and they will start attacking the goblins. And you can have some help during this fight. However, I don't know if if I can have this conversation without a potion of animal speaking or not. So let me try it anyway and see what happens. If not, I'll have a combat with the spiders, but it's not a big deal.
The spider seems poised to attack, but she hesitates, tapping her claws as if trying to communicate. The other spider echoes her.
Okay, so I do have an animal handling roll here. It's not going to be a very good chance. Okay.
The spider relaxes slightly, but you feel her hunger and fear beneath the surface. She looks to the closed door, drooling.
Okay. So she is drooling. Okay, so you don't need, it doesn't appear that you need animal handling to be able to pass that.
I'll give it a shot.
So what we're going to do is go up here and trigger the lever.
Light on my feet.
We're going to move back out of the way, and the spiders are going to head out. Now I want to be ready with the Astarion because they're now in a fight, and I want Astarion to get into this fight. Okay. I want the spiders and I to be kind of allied here, so to speak, during this fight. So I can help winnow out some numbers and be in the fight with them. So that's kind of why I kind of ran in here, to keep them as allies, because they do have some hit points, but there's a lot of goblins out here, and they can start taking a lot of damage. And if you let them stay by themselves, they're normally only going to end up killing one or maybe two before they get overwhelmed. So I'm going to help try and maximize this a little bit. And see if I can keep them alive. So now here I'm going to try and manage my detection cones again. So I have a Booyog and a Warlock here. Let's try and remove... Let me try and minimize how much I can be seen here. Okay, so now the detection cone should have been cleared out a little bit. Okay, so... Eesh. I don't think I'm going to be able to get through that. Okay, so there is another way to do this.
Light steps.
And that's over here. So we'll take Lae'zel and put her on another flanking mission here. Since the detection cones are covering up both of the stairwells, I'm going to take her up and around and come down the ladders behind them over here. And see if I have an option there available to me. So it looks like these are covered up. by the detection cones, but I don't think they are. Again, I don't think that these cones are rendering like they should. I don't think there's actually a detection cone here. But we'll find out. Yeah, there's not. They're so far down below me. Oh, she did pass a height check. Okay. But I don't think it's a full detection cone. She would have had to have passed a height check every 3 meters while going through that, and she obviously didn't. So I'm going to just click on the ladder and I'll be down right behind the tracker here, and I might have to pass another height check. We'll see. Yes. Okay. But that puts her right into the thick of things back here, which is where I wanted her to be anyway, so... Now for Astarion, we're just going to try and finish off one of these. Trying to see where Warlock Grease is sitting at.
Leave no trace.
Okay, so... That's fine. Not worried about that. Okay, so for Will here, we're just going to try and take out the Warlock. Okay.
Here goes nothing.
Time to strike.
Okay, so for Lae'zel, we can just start wailing away at this point. Okay, and now I'm going to bring her down here. And I'm actually going to jump her down here. No, let's take her down to the bottom first. Should be able to move out to here and then still jump. Okay, we can action surge. I'm gonna go after the lookout here. Okay, help the spiders out a little bit. Spider got a crit. Nice. Like to see it. So we're going to quickly run out of targets here.
Keep them guessing.
Okay, so Torturer Spike. I think I want to get rid of the Devout first.
Two steps at a time.
Okay, so we can't see around there. So we've got some line of sight issues. Okay, so Will's not going to be able to do much. Let Lae'zel wreak some havoc, and again, her Great Weapon Master bonus attack is now available, but there's no one else around us. Oh, I didn't even see the... How did I miss the Warlock that was standing right next to me? Okay, yeah, somebody messed that up.
Just like old times.
Okay.
Victor's path.
And yeah, just some just one left, so the one devout over here. Again, I can reapply Hex here. And I missed. Okay, Lae'zel is not going to be able to make her way over there, I don't think. She's not. So
Taking position.
just move her out of the way. Easy enough. Now the spiders, when they're done, are just going to go back up here into this top area and just hang out. Okay.
Does this count as
I don't
adventure?
think...
Swift as my
I
feet
can
carry
talk to
me.
them again, but that's an interesting question.
My eyes grow heavy. Best to make camp.
Nope. Okay. So, now for the rest of this area out here, we've cleared out that side. We've cleared out this side. That's where Minthara was. Okay, we can do a little bit more looting here, and we can head over to the last couple of areas inside of here.
Proceeding.
So we can cast Speak with the Dead again.
I've got a long road ahead.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Bruiser Chief. Beat drum / sword. Flame smoke. Gold. Blood. Absolute blessing. Crush, smash, burn, whip, scream. Give pain, get answer. Bushes outside. Kids were playing. Born here. Stay here.
The corpse does not stir. It will answer no more questions.
Okay, and we can go down here and search Torturer Spike. Torturer Spike used to have a much different storyline with Will and Will's Eye back in early access, but then when they brought Karlach in and they completely rewrote Will's storyline, all of that changed.
What lies within?
Okay, so we're just going to loot these last couple here.
Onward.
And now one thing you notice is that the Zentarum are gone. They are not around anymore. However, this door, which was always marked as steel, now inside their storeroom here, if you go in there, you'll run into an encounter. And I like the Zentarum at this point. Yeah, Eric, Will's story is now much bigger than it used to be. A lot more fulfilling. I really like it now. But they did have to redo all of that dialogue. He got completely rewritten. Okay, and now, remember, we were in here. This is where the whole Leviathar's love thing
No one stopped me yet.
popped up.
Sharp as ever.
Let's move.
So
Moving in.
here, we're going to get right into an encounter here. Did I not do... I have a bad feeling that I didn't do any of this side. I don't think I did. I don't... Chat, remind me, did I do this? In this playthrough? I don't think I did. Because I haven't rescued Volo yet. Normally, I rescue Volo, I do Leviathar's love here, and then talk to Liam. But yeah, I don't seem to have it on any of my characters. That's a little surprising that I didn't do it beforehand. But again, I'm... so many playthroughs, so you'll have to wait for the Paladin playthrough to see it, I guess. So, I apologize for that. That is unlike me.
Can't stay idle.
Well, I can't do it now. He's not going to be there. He leaves after all this is done, so I can't do it. Can't do it now after I've defeated Ragsland. So
let's have some fun.
And I've left dual wielding on here. That's fine.
To the death.
Okay. So now her key
Open up.
is on her. You can come in here and have a persuasion check to release Volo and not have to fight her.
Look at this! I'm quite saved! A joy to see a familiar face in such a precarious setting. I guarantee the story of your daring rescue of my person will live on for eons. I intend to do just that. A trusty invisibility potion goes a long way in a place like this. We mustn't tarry, but I'd hate for our friendship to end here. Please, won't you meet me once we've both slipped the goblin yoke? Why, by design, my friend. How better to learn the ways of a people than to live among them? I dare say the experiment has proven most fruitful, too. I'll be happy to share my findings once we've found somewhere safe to parley. Smashing! Soon, my friend. Soon we can share a flagon of something liquid and a tale of daring do. I'll slip away when the coast is clear. See you soon, my friend. I simply can't wait to pick your brain!
Okay, so rescued him. He's going to head off to your camp, which is perfectly fine. That's what you want. You want to have an encounter with him at your camp a little bit later. So, in here, more camp supplies that you can pick up. And, oh, we have a letter to Elminster. So, this is actually kind of cool. A letter between Volo and Elminster, two of the most famous characters in Forgotten Realms. If you don't know all the lore with of who Volo is and who Elminster is, I'm trying not to get... I could spend an hour talking about Baldur's Gate, the city of Baldur's Gate and Forgotten Realms and the lore involved. You're going... I don't want to... I'm trying to avoid spoilers too. Both very important people, both really cool. They've taken Volo in a very interesting way in the game here, which just makes it all the more fun to experience and play with in the game here. But yeah, two really cool characters in Forgotten Realms lore. So I'll just leave it at that. Like I say, I don't want to get too far into into the lore here. I could talk forever about it.
They won't see me coming.
Okay, so I'm going to come up here. These goblins are, again, marked as hostile.
Yes.
Okay, so my stealth was successful. Didn't really need it to be. Oh, and he beat me on initiative. Well, I guess it was bound to happen. I did manage to take him out without alerting either of the other two, which is interesting. Okay, so I'm not going to have advantage against either one from hiding because I'm too far. Okay, that's fine.
On my way.
Oh, enemy was surprised I didn't need to move out of the way.
Still in shadow. I shouldn't linger.
Watching and waiting, not a peep.
Bit of caution never hurt. Never wanted the easy path.
And again, really don't care about much of this.
Fall by my hand.
The combat is going to be incredibly easy here, so I'm not too worried about it.
Still on my feet. Don't waste a step.
Let's turn someone inside out.
On the victor's path, coming through.
Okay, so the detection cone is right up to here. Let's see if we can get him
I won't give in.
threatened
Wonder
first.
if the gods are watching me.
Oh, didn't even need to do that. Crash and just walk up and smash him in the face. I have not gone over there and talked to Liam yet. I'm gonna do that on the way out.
What's inside?
I'm going to go down into here first. Okay, so now from here, I'm gonna take a short rest. Get everybody back up. And this should be the last thing that we do. I didn't want to go in there. Okay, so they're not hostile in here. Which is fine.
Best be on my way.
Okay, so I am going to swap that back out.
This calls for careful footwork.
Quietly.
So we'll wait until this goblin comes back up.
I can get used to all these raids, and especially all this meat.
Okay, so these two I'm not too worried about. We're gonna wait for the patrolling goblin to come back here. Okay, well if they're not gonna come back, then I will go out here and initiate this. See if I can get another attack in there before it ended. Nope. Okay, so he did decide to come back, so I just missed Warrior Plague here. Okay, so let's go ahead. Oh, and I'm standing right in between everybody's detection cones. How nice is that?
The subtle approach.
Okay, and now we will dash. And we'll move Astarion all the way back up here. Okay, so as far as the detection cones go here, yeah, we'll wait for Warrior Plague to come back up. Let's see where he is in the order. Okay, down near the very bottom. That's good. And he's probably going to be... He's probably going to want to take off and head back down this way anyway. Let's just end the turn and we'll let this play out. Okay, so at this point, it's really just about dealing with what we have left here, and I might be able to get out of the doorway now as well. So let's see if we can get Lae'zel out of the doorway here.
Not one false move.
Okay, I can. Good. So from here, I want to threaten this goblin here. So Butcher Vrak should be threatened now.
Let's spill some blood.
So here I should be able to get a sneak attack against Butcher Vrak, and I can.
Make it hurt.
Okay, and now I'm going to actually move up. And bite him, and then I'm going to use an offhand melee attack, and that ends him. And now I can just move myself back wherever I want. Yeah. Because I'm going to have to take care of these kids. Well, I don't have to, but... Okay, so let's bring everybody else to bear here. No pun intended.
Taking my time in the shadows. What path lies before me?
Time to strike.
Okay, so that'll be it for Astarian's turn. The wargs are now going to break out. And now we get to finish them off too.
Taking position.
Okay, so now this warg should be threatened. Okay, path is interrupted. It is threatened. Okay, great. He missed anyway. That wasn't great.
Survival is all that matters.
You're done pretty and scented to wit.
Well, that follow-up is just not hitting as much, nearly as much.
A bright idea.
Fun times. Fun times.
Never a dull moment.
I will not know failure.
All right. Easy enough.
Pardon the viscera. One should cherish all of nature's bounty, but goblin guts are quite far down the list. You aided a bear without knowing if it would savage you. A true friend of nature. Or perhaps a lunatic. Either way, I owe thanks. I am the druid Halsin. Yes, but just Halsin will suffice. Unbecoming to demand honorifics from the one who saved my hide. I am aware. I foolishly left it vulnerable to this rabble. There's work to be done. That look in your eyes. I've seen it before. Are you feeling all right? Oak Father preserve you, child. You're infected, aren't you? The Mind Flayer's spawn. But something's different. You're aware of the monster inside you. You don't bow to the Absolute like the true souls do. How is this possible? It's no coincidence that you found me here, I'll wager. You're after a cure for this parasite. I've been studying these parasites for a while now. Ever since I discovered these so-called true souls are infected with them, someone is using very powerful magic to modify these tadpoles. They're using them to exert control over the infected. I'm sorry to say, I can't undo that magic, which means I can't cure you. But that doesn't mean I can't help. I didn't find what I came here for, a way to remove the tadpoles, but I found the next best thing. I found out where they come from. That must be where these enchantments are placed on them. And it's where you'll find your cure. I overheard that the cultists are sending all of their captives to Moonrise Towers. Innocents go in, true souls come out. Given that all of these true souls are infected, it has to be the source for this magic. If you want to find a cure, you must head there and discover how the tadpoles are being manipulated. Gladly, but first I must return to the Grove. As you made short work of the goblins' leaders, there's nothing stopping me. Come join me in your own time. I can see to some matters there, and we can discuss what comes next amidst more bucolic surroundings than here.
Okay. So a lot of conversation there with Halsin, and we got another level up. And it's going to be a really cool level up for us here, so I'm looking forward to exploring all of that. However, we are going to have to explore that next week on our live stream. So that's a great point for us to end this week. Stay tuned. In an hour, we will have the Paladin live stream. In the meantime, this will give us all a chance to take a break, grab something to drink or something to eat if you need to, and I will try and deal with some of the construction going on around here in the meantime. And you'll see a post go up here in just a second about the Paladin live stream coming up starting in an hour. So, again, as usual, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me today. Without your support, none of this would be possible. This is me, Commander Dror, saying, until next time, fare thee well.